Hi, I am your host, Rock Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Moore, Crystal Cleveland, and Dave Dreher and I will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. With me this week is my co-host, Jeff Moore. Jeff, how you doing, bud?
Horror movies saved my life.
Did they?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That is.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
That's a thing. We'll be talking about that. Do you share that in common with the character in our movie, or are you just
No, actually, yeah. There's several things that saved my life, but that's one.
That's one. Yeah. Well, horror movies certainly have brought me a lot of friends, and I like that. All right.
Yeah,
awesome.
there you go.
Wow. This week is Crystal Cleveland. Yes, the living dead girl. Crystal, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm just trying to figure out what podcast I'm on. Y'all are all sweet and loving.
Ooh, little. Yeah, we are. We try to be. That's our aim.
I'm just kidding. Oh God, I messed up my camera there, guys.
Yeah,
sorry, guys. You see me? There.
Yeah,
there. That's what I get. That's what I get for being in.
Picking up the world. All right. I hope you had a good time with the movies this week.
I did. Actually, I was looking around for my little good boy, my little good little Oliver, my little pupper.
Ah, yes. Wow. You know, I'm just slow. All right. Also joining us is the one and only Dave Dreher. Oh, yeah. I'm glad to see you, bud. How you doing?
Hey, wow, I'm mesmerized by my quarantine or my furlough beard.
Oh, yes. You got that.
Yeah, dang.
I had that till yesterday. I shaved yesterday.
Should have shaved. I forgot we were doing the video thing today.
Man, you got it going on, man. No, you're rocking it. You're like
That gray.
You're like the gray. You're stud muffin with gray. Yeah. We'll go with that, right?
Yeah.
All right. What we do every week is we review two movies streaming or video on demand, and we have a pair for you tonight. If you've been watching the board down below, you know what's going on. We are going to be doing Warning, Do Not Play. Now, this is showing on Shudder starting in June 11th. That is a Thursday. And we're going to be doing Into the Dark, Good Boy, which premieres June 12th, which is Friday of this week as we're recording. And that's playing on HULU, if I forgot to mention that. These are... Well, we've been doing the Into the Dark series this second season, and we've been enjoying much of them. This is an interesting one about a dog. And then Warning, Do Not Play. More about that later. And Warning, Do Not Play is a J-horror, as Dave described it. And it's a lot of fun. It's on Shudder, and we're going to be excited to talk about it. So I hope you guys are ready, and I hope you enjoy our reviews that are coming up. And if you like what you're seeing, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the like too. Yeah,
Is it there?
You keep pointing. It's somewhere around there. All right. Up first is, now let's see if we can get the screens going on here, because I got this stuff lined up and I'm stalling because I'm trying to remember where it is. Warning,
fumbling through the tabs.
Yes. Warning, Do Not Play premieres Thursday, June 11th, 2020 on Shudder. As aspiring director, Mi Jung struggles to come up with ideas for a new horror film until her friend Jun Seo tells her about a mysterious film rumored to be shot by a ghost. While researching it, she begins to write a new screenplay about her hunt for the ghost film. But as she gets closer to the truth, the line between her film and her life begins to blur. Writer-director Kim Jin-won and starring So Hee-ji and Stop and Jin Sun-hui. I'm so sorry. One of these days I'll get it. It is a Shudder original, like I said, coming June 11th. All right, let's see who is winning the magic toss, and it is the one and only Dave Dreher. Dave, let us know, bud, what you think of. Well, what is your first impression of Warning, Do Not Play?
Warning, Do Not Play. Well, I'll tell you, it looks good. It lost me really early on. There's a lot of real confusing plot twists on this one. But basically, the synopsis you read, Doc, sums it up pretty well. We've got a young woman who's been hired write the screenplay. She's down to the last 2 weeks. She's got to get this bad boy done, or her and her boss are losing their jobs. And she hears tell of a student film that was supposedly filmed and was filmed by a ghost, and there's rumors of deaths and people going insane and all this stuff. So she starts looking into it and finds out that things are much truer than she ever could have imagined. But it does look really good. There's some really interesting shots. There's a couple really bad CGI shots, which I really didn't understand, because they were able to pull off some really good practical effects. And then they opted for these two bad, which we'll talk about as we get deeper into this, but two really bad CGI shots that reminded me of remember the movie Earthquake back in the day, Charlton Heston?
Yeah.
They would do the blood splatter on the screen to make it look like that's what it looked like. It looked like really, so it was horrible. It looked really bad. But overall, again, it's another subtitled film, which is usually a big nail in the coffin for me. But I enjoyed the lead. I thought the girl, I'm not even going to attempt to say her name, was quite good. I thought the director, the director who had gone mad, was quite good. And there was a couple really interesting shots. So overall, I didn't dislike it.
You didn't dislike it. I think that's a win. We're going to chalk that one up. All right. Up next is Crystal Cleveland. Crystal, what is your first impression of Warning, Do Not Play?
So I think I liked it more than Dave did, because I thought it was really quite interesting. So he already explained the plot and what's happening here, but there's parallels between the female director, and the insane male director, who technically didn't direct the film because it was shot by a ghost and he was knocked out or something very, very weird. But they both have parallels where they both watched The Exorcist, and they both were at a really down place in their life, and they're both clearly insane, as it points out and happens to be at the end. There are going to be some things that are going to frustrate people. I agree with Dave that some of the CGI effects were, it could have honestly done without them. I think they could have figured out some other ways to do certain things, but the premise of the story is pretty typical. It's a haunted theater, though, which I'm all about the haunted theater idea. I think that's super fun and cool. I think that for traditional horror lovers, I think I think they'll agree with me. It's worth a watch. It's worth a watch. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think I liked it more than Dave, but I don't think I was like, it's the best.
I'm not sure if you're trying to convince me or yourself.
Maybe that's the case. I have to agree with him. I really liked her, and there's some things I really liked about it. I feel like it was really understated, and I like that. I mean, there's something to that. So a lot of it was simple. They were just in smaller, dark places. I feel like the story was even simple, and you see a lot. Definitely, the girl is the main focus of this movie, and you see a lot of her just doing her thing, trying to find a story, and it's kind of a detective.
Well, yeah, definitely. Like The Ring isn't. The Ringo is like that too. They're trying to figure out the
right.
But let's find out what Jeff thought. Jeff Moore. What was your first impression of Warning, Do Not Play?
I don't know what was wrong with me.
No.
What? Oh, really? Interesting.
Well, I wanted to like this. I wanted to like this a lot. And it looked good, at least from the kind of things that I normally like. And, but around about the third act, I just got lost. It was like, I don't know. My brain was in a fog or something while I was watching. So I'm going to watch it again. I've been pounding coffee now since I tried to watch it. So, but partway through, I was thinking, there's a place towards the beginning where we sort of get this. Is it a real killer? Is it a ghost? Is it a dream? I don't know. I just don't know. I thought the lead actress and I forget her name. Where did it go? Yi So? I thought she was great. I really enjoyed watching her, and I thought she had very expressive eyes. That a lot of times there wasn't a lot of facial expression, but just little things like when she's having coffee with her friend or when she's meeting with somebody, there was so much in her face without saying a whole lot. I really enjoyed that. I liked the idea as far as I could follow it, but there's a place towards the end where I just was like, what the heck? It was all that. And I just couldn't get it all pieced together. So I think I need to watch it again, and I will. I will watch it again.
I'm surprised a lot of times you do watch the movies more than once. So yeah.
Well,
It's commitment.
I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to go into that.
Well, it is a slow build, but it's I like the lead actress as well. I like this film. I like the concept of it. I like what they're after. The effects, like you say, range. Some of them are really good. Some of them kind of come off like maybe a little schlocky, but it works as a whole. I would say, it gets a little confusing because, there's a couple storylines kind of going. You get his storyline and her storyline start to kind of meld or parallel at the end, and it gets a little wacky. He being the director of the original film, it was like 10 years ago, right? So there's 10 years separating them. There does seem to be, like this cycle thing that they're trying to explore. Mm-hmm. One of the things I thought it relied a little too heavy on was the dreams, which can be overused. Sometimes that's a trope, right? In horror films, is to have a dream, wake up, and you get scared, right? And now you're back in the movie. And they do that quite often here. The only reason it didn't distract me from liking the film is because it built her character, and they at least did that. But I thought they did it fairly too often. I did like her friend, and I liked, the whole thing about the previous cast of characters that, encounter via a flashback that is being seen as it's happening, which I think is, Jeff, might have been confusing you, or the way it was presented was a bit, just a bit something. But in the end, what can I say? I liked it. I have a good time with it, and I'm a sucker for these films anyway. J-horror. This is a South Korean feature, and I'm not sure how well it did. We'll have to pick Joseph Perry's brain to see if he can give us any background on the how this did last year.
So when you brought up the whole kind of displacement thing, I think there was definitely time displacement, because you watched her. She basically filmed his film, right? Did y'all not get that kind of see that? Right. Yeah. So there was definitely time displacement in the theater. I thought that was really clever. She filmed his film essentially, and I felt that was really trippy. And now the time thing was kind of muddled, and it was hard to understand, but I thought the characters, I guess these are the reasons why I liked the film. I think it was clever in that regard, and also how when he was in distress, how she decides to pick up the camera and film it because she's insane. Any normal person would have gone to help him, but she's like, ooh, I need to get this on camera. We're going to show this off. This is great. And he was the same way. Yes. They were definitely, simpatico. And I think that it's such a fascinating concept. I think they could have played even more on that and showed the parallels even a little bit further. But obviously she cared more about her friend than he. Well, no, No, she didn't, because she took off. See, they're so
No,
much
she didn't.
thing.
Well, to be fair, she didn't know he was in there until later, and
Yeah.
it was almost too late, right?
Yeah, but she was already out. Her
Yeah.
ass should have gone right back into that theater. She was right there. She took it. She what? She like just took off. She's like, "Why are you back in there?" Oh, bye. Bye. Like, but he did the same thing with his crew. He
That's
threw
true,
her
and-
to the dogs. Yeah.
Yep, and
So-
and she got to see him run out the door. I like that.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. Yeah.
The thing that lost me was the friend.
The one
What?
that goes in after her, and
Yeah,
she's
the
already
friend that
out-
was like assistant director on her first short, that she was always having a coffee with.
Yeah.
At the end, we're seeing the movie and the being shown at like Busan Fantastic Film Fest or something, but we're also seeing him racing to the old burnout theater. I don't know. I just got totally lost, and then there was no real reveal with that. Or
They-
didn't-
they
if
did
there was, I
kinda-
didn't get it.
Yeah, if they showed it, we missed. I missed it, and obviously you missed it. Dave, you said this is kind of par for course for you in these films, right?
That's the way
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are.
Yeah, a lot of time I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm just kind of judging it on how good. So
Well,
it was nice seeing him at that Busan Film Festival, because we always hear Joseph talk about that.
Yeah,
That's like one of his favorite things to go to. So
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. I wonder.
So that was kinda
Yeah, I'd love to hear his take on it. What did you think? What did Jeff? No, sorry, Dave. Compare this to other J horror films that you've seen. Where does it sit? Is it better or worse than your other encounters with these?
I'm going to say, for me, and this is just for me, I think it was a little bit better. I did find myself kind of compelled with the story. Like Crystal, I really kind of liked the whole haunted theater aspect of this. It kept me a little more engaged. Some of the other ones, not so much. But I did follow this one along. And again, I don't know what was happening or why it was happening or any of that stuff. But it really didn't matter. I mean, it had a beginning and an ending, and what happened in between, it progressed us to that point. So I really wasn't trying to analyze it so much. I thought it worked pretty good. To me, it seemed like at the end, and correct me if I'm wrong, she was she became the demon, right? Or she became the entity.
Well, sort of. She like Crystal was saying, she's kind of partially responsible, but not in the same time frame. So it's really interesting.
Okay, I mean, I really like this. I like the scene where she was standing there filming it, and one of the original crew members turns around and is like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "You can see me."
And she was filming it so
Right.
cool.
But
I
did you
mean,
notice that it wasn't her that he saw? It was
the demon.
The demon, right,
the
exactly.
ghost behind her, and we
But
got
that's
that.
why
really
that's why they
thing.
think the ghost made the movie.
Right.
But it was
Right.
her.
She was actually her.
Ooh, spooky.
Yeah.
But did you see the
Yeah,
actress
I mean,
too? But
yeah.
the actress, right? The actress at the end, you see how she's watching her playing this and she's a little messed up and she's looking for the suicide marks. I think it's a circle. I think the actress is also her and she hadn't tried to commit suicide yet. And it was moving forward that way.
Yeah, because she didn't have it.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that crazy? That's
We
No,
crazy.
it's not.
Jeff.
Well, I really like that.
Yeah.
No, there's some really nice choices here. So early on, there's a place where she hears some noises in a room, and then she has her hand like on I don't know what it's on. It was on the computer or on a bookcase or something, and so her hand's up there. I get my hand and that doesn't work. Anyway, he reaches up and grabs her wrist and pulls it off, and I when I first saw that, I thought that's really weird. What, could she not move her arm or anything? Well, then we find out later what she actually grabbed was that wristband, and because the noises she was hearing were taking her back to why she's wearing the wristband.
Ah.
So it caused her to sort of reach and touch it. And then later on, we see her take the wristband off, and we also see why she's wearing the wristband and what she's covering up. So,
And the plot sickens.
Yeah, it could actually be that she goes all along. We don't know if she survived. So,
Yeah.
right. So the we also have a third story going on, and that's what happened to the actual ghost. We get her backstory kind of woven in. We see it displayed on a screen at the theater that has burnt down, but our characters look up and it's playing her death because she died doing this gag and everything went south. What did you think of that, Crystal? Did that bring? What did that bring to the story?
Wait. Okay, of course, I like the idea of the ghost. I'm just trying to. The whole time I was watching this, I wish I had been able to watch it again. This is actually one that I said to myself today, I wish I had the time to rewatch it because I know that I would pick up some things that I didn't pick up the first time. I totally could see, maybe I'm wrong and it's not the director, but that's the actress and she hasn't burned yet. And then that's the movie she's going to film. Ooh, no, really. like I swear it's definitely playing on time. And I think that's what makes it a little interesting, but it's very subtle. I don't know. There's just some coolness about this movie. And it was spooky. It had spooky moments. And I think the ghost was maybe a little bit too heavily CGI.
At times.
Yeah,
very much so. Yeah.
But even still at times, seeing those eyes they were creepy. And there were moments where just the whole movie since it was set so dark, I think it worked well, you know.
It seems we lost Dave. We know that he was going through some storms up his way. So I imagine, until I get a little message here on the phone, that the lights went out. So we'll see if he can join us later on in the show. But until then, we'll keep going. Let's wrap this one up. Let's give our final thoughts, our score, and favorite scene for Warning.
Oh, wow.
Do not
that means it's me.
You get to go first, Crystal.
I get to go first. Hey, get the favorite scene choice. Okay, so like I said, I think it's worth a watch. It's subtitled, so some of you guys are not going to be interested in this, but you need to get past that because you're going to miss out on a lot of good horror movies if you don't. I am going to give this. I'm having a tough time. I'm teetering on a 2.75 or a 3, actually, even.
Nice, actually.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead because I think I would like it more if I watched it again. I'm gonna actually go ahead and give it a 3, which is high for me.
Nice.
So, because I think there's more to it and more than I'm just missing. There was a lot going on, and my favorite scene was the pipe down the pipe.
Oh,
down the windpipe.
Yes.
Mm.
That's actually one of the gorier scenes.
Yeah.
It's a little.
That's a little bit like brain damage, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Decades of horror, 80s reference there. All right. Very good. That's a good scene. You picked it.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff Moore, you're up next. What's your final thoughts? Your score, favorite scene, Warning, do not play.
So again, it probably sounded like I was complaining about this or coming down on it, but I really did like it, and I really do want to see it again. I thought the acting was really good, and I love the shot selection and the story. So I'm gonna watch this again, and I'm sort of the same with Crystal. I was going to give this a 3, mostly in anticipation, I guess, of understanding it a little more when I rewatch it. Favorite scene. Well, I should not leave a lot of silence on that. I guess I'll go. I can't say that one. Let me think here. Good.
Dave is back.
Glitching.
He
Oh, no.
lost your spot.
No.
He lost your spot, though.
Yeah, but he's
I'm behind the ball.
Oh, now you're back up.
Okay. So my favorite scene, I'll say that whole sequence when there's something going on, in the bathroom, where there's several scenes where the door is jiggling to the bathroom, and we kind of find out why that is a trigger for her, I guess.
Yes.
And I like how they showed that. They were very subtle about it and gave you hints before it's actually revealed.
They did it well. All right, Dave, glad you made it back. A little blip in the internet, you said, right?
Yeah. Storm's blowing through. The internet went out for a second.
Yeah, well, it's a thing. All right, it's your turn, though. What is your final thoughts for your favorite scene? 4, warning, do not play. Stop giving me.
Well, I lost what the rest of you guys chose and had to say. So,
well, I will say, Dave, that everybody gave it a 3 so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did.
Yeah, and I'm going to be pretty close to that. I'm going to give it a 2.75. I enjoyed it enough. It did keep me. It kept me interested. I didn't fade away from the story at all. I did like the lead actress, as I already mentioned. It did get a little confusing, but that was actually kind of fun. The fact that it got a little confusing. So, as J horror goes, particularly for me, this is one of the better ones I've seen. So, favorite scene, I actually already mentioned it, but I really like that scene where we kind of realize that she's she's the one who filmed it. Never really did figure out if she's the demon or she isn't the demon or what's going on. But when that guy turns around and says something, and she says, "You can see me," it was kind of a almost like a Blair Witch moment for me. It was like a moment of reveal when you knew something really odd was going on. So I like that scene quite a bit. So yeah, not a bit. It's on Shudder, right? Yeah. It's Shudder. It's worth checking out.
Yeah,
it's a win. Yeah. So same for me. I like my J horror. I'm always putting them up on the show so we can do them. This one is solid for me. Is it top of the heap? No, but it's far from the bottom. I actually enjoyed it. I thought I liked it more than everybody here. I'd written down a 3. Everybody else chose a 3. So there you go. The actress makes it. The concept supports it. It has its flaws, but the flaws don't break the film. They don't take you out terribly much, and it's I had a good time with it. My favorite scene, the one I liked, is when at some point we see the original director or the 10 years ago. And well, probably not. But he's showing his film the one time he got to show it, and everybody runs out screaming. They're all horrified.
Yes.
And he just stands up and goes,
"Yes, this is the scene." I swear I was going to say an honorable mention. Yes.
And I love that so much. I just it gave it this. It gave
so
the whole
creepy.
thing this air, right? Yeah, and especially his participation. So.
Doc, let me tell you, I was like, if he doesn't say this, I'm going to have to give it an honorable mention because it was so weird. I mean, it was just like, and I'm like, gosh.
Oh, it just like came in on him to do it. So it was really neat.
Oh, and he had such a big smile.
Yes.
Freaking out.
Yeah. And I like the way his appearance changed in that creepy little room he had. And I guess it was underneath the theater or something, or behind it or something. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, it was in the theater somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it was, or down the street, around the corner, up the bend. There's a song.
I thought it was like in the sewer.
I think that was a commercial. I think
it was. All right. Well, that is Warning, Do Not Play, and that will be playing on Shudder June 11, 2020. So by the time you're hearing this, it's either coming on or has been on. So I hope you enjoy it. Let us know. Comment below. Let us know if this is one you like, and let us know what you think of Shudder, because we like Shudder. We'd like to hear either support our love for Shudder or let us know how we can suggest they improve it. Yeah, yeah, we'll do that.
They can't improve it. What?
Well, everything can be fun. All right, up next is Into the Dark, Good Boy. This is the latest in the series of films. Now, these are all at least 90-minute films, or close to 90 minutes, that they've been putting out monthly. Each one is based on a theme of that month somehow. I'm not really sure how this one fits, but I'm going to go for it. This one's called Good Boy, and it is about an emotional support dog that may be far more than he seems. The director is, let's pull it up. I've got a little cheat card. Here we go. When Maggie gets an emotional support dog, to help quell some of her anxiety, she finds him to be even more effective than she imagined, because he kills anyone who had stress To Her Life, directed by Tyler McIntyre, who did Tragedy Girls. We reviewed that, I believe, about a year ago. Writers are Aaron Eisenberg and Will Eisenberg, and the cast includes the great Judy Greer, Steve Guttenberg, Maria Conchita Alonso, hadn't seen her in a while, and McKinley Freeman and Amina Ju. So let's, who gets this one?
Oh my God.
I think it is Jeff.
Who's the good boy? Jeff's the good boy. He's a good boy, Jeff.
Poor Dave. Poor
So,
Dave.
Jeff, what is your first impression of Into the Dark, Good Boy?
Well, I don't know exactly what the relationship is, but it was Pet Appreciation Day.
I think that's exactly it.
Yes.
Mm.
Golf clap, yeah.
Aw.
Although he's such a good boy, and I'm definitely a dog person.
Baby.
So it definitely puts a new spin on the concept of emotional support animal or pet or dog or whatever. I really like the cast. I love Judy Greer, and I doubt that I would have recognized Steve Guttenberg if I didn't know he was in the cast. His voice, I recognize his voice, but he just looks so different from what I've seen him in before. It's definitely an interesting idea, and so I think you did a little bit of a synopsis, but she's very anxious. She has a job at a magazine. She gets this is your typical, we're going to make improvements, so we're going to fire you, and now you're a subcontractor, and we're going to pay you crap. So she went from having a firm paycheck, a regular paycheck, to not knowing when she was going to get paid. And Steve Guttenberg plays her boss. Shortly after that, somebody suggests to her that she get a dog, that would make her feel better. She picks up this dog from the pound, and it's kind of a scruffy looking dog, but kind of cool looking too.
Yes.
He's the cutest dojo.
He's a
Sweet
good
boy.
So, and she names the dog Reuben because it eats her Reuben sandwich right off the bat. Magically, kind of. We hear no noise whatsoever, but it manages to get onto the food preparation island, and it's gone. So anyway, but it turns out the dog is more than just a little dog. It has some other vicious type powers, and it can sense when she's anxious, and it does something about that with whoever's making her anxious. So, and we don't get to find that out right away. So I don't know. This is an interesting movie because I'm watching it. I'm thinking, well, this is cute and it's kind of sweet, but there's definitely a dark side to it. So it's not a typical horror movie. Most of the gore is after the fact. The actual infliction, the actual violence isn't shown. Later on, we get a little bit better impact, but it's sort of hidden by good camera angles and things like that, so that they don't have to. And I think that's typical for a lot of these Into the Dark movies.
working with their budget.
But I don't know. I enjoyed it. I also enjoyed how fast she figured it out. I don't know how much we want to tell.
We don't want to tell too much.
Yeah. So she figures it out pretty quickly what this dog is doing, and I don't know. There's a lot of interaction. This is one of those ones I really don't want to give too many things away. So I enjoyed it, but it's not a typical. I think it's maybe a good movie for people that maybe. I mean, horror fans, I think, will enjoy it, but I also think it might be a good movie for people who may think they don't like horror movies.
You think it's a gateway horror film? All right.
Well,
Gateway.
there's blood, right? But it's cute. It's so cute.
It is so cute.
Sweet, and she's so innocent, and anyway, it's. So I think I'll stop there. I enjoyed it, but it's odd. I don't know what else to say about it.
It is odd. I'll second that. All right, but let's find out what the rest of the crew think. Crystal, you're up next. What's your first impression of Into the Dark? Good boy.
Well, It's a brilliant use of dogos, and I approve of this message. Okay, because I've got 3 dogs, and of course I can't find a single one when I want to show them off, so they're kind of butt heads right now. But Judy Greer is, I love her so much. I mean, she is freaking Cheryl on Archer. She's amazing. She's also in the new Halloween, of course. We all know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just, God, I love her. I just love her. I think she's brilliant. I think she's funny and cute and sweet, and her character is perfect. And Steve Guttenberg, that's how I've been pronouncing his name. I'm feeling a little. I remember him in some stuff, and I would have not recognized him well. I remember some stuff. I just can't remember what it is, and it doesn't matter because all you need to know is he's in Good Boy. Good Boy. And so the story is great. They have these shelter animals, and it promotes shelter rescue because she's getting it from a shelter, and he's her emotional support dog, and she really did need him. And she does get a little bit crazy and a little bit crazier because the longer he's with her, I think she has a descent into madness because, a lot is going on with her in her life. And I feel like the acting was good. I feel like the story was good. There was a lot of blood, though. I mean,
yeah,
I guess I do agree that this could be a gateway horror movie, but I think some people might freak out. I mean, the under the bed. I mean, it was like bleh. It was a bloodbath from under the bed, which I'm all for that. I'm like blood more, so good. But also, did you catch treasure me? I'll treasure you. They totally had a kickback to the Valentine Into the Dark. In the club or in the pub or club. Yeah, I was like, I loved like the pop. I was like, I was gonna put on my blue wig, but it was too much. It was doing too much. I wouldn't want to do too much.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Dave, thanks. Dave, what is your first impression of Into the Dark? Good boy.
Good boy. I like Good Boy. I think I'm going to pretty much mirror what my 2 proteges have said. I like Judy Greer a lot. She's done a lot of genre stuff of late, and that's all good. I'm okay with that. She does. She's very kind of sweet and kind, but she's got this underlying darkness to her that she's able to just kind of whip out whenever she feels like it, and it really works for her. I liked how this one, because I watched the 2 movies like back to back, so that the ending of that first movie was all dark and foreboding, and you put this one on and it's like do 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 do, happy tune, and you're like what the okay. I like the journey that Judy was on. Her character was on. The whole sub story with wanting the, trying to do the egg harvesting and all that, and it was it all kind of it just kind of all played well together. I was hoping we'd get to see the good boy transform, and we do get that. We do get that at the end. I think there's quite a bit of blood. I mean, the incident in the road too. What they think is a car accident was very, very bloody. But I don't know. It was just the right mix of lightheartedness and viciousness and bloody, but not over the top bloody. And some of the stuff like after the Maria Conchito, whatever her name is, character, and the daughter or the niece shows up, and she's like, the pool could really use cleaned. Just evil little remarks that are totally unnecessary, but just a lot of fun. So I've enjoyed most of these Into the Dark films, and this one will continue that reign.
Yeah, I like that statement. It does continue the successful string of features Into the Dark. I think this second season has been quite good and eclipsed the first one. And then there was a couple in the first one that I really liked. This one is a strong one, but it does have a lighter tone. And with that lighter tone, it kind of felt, and some of them do. I mean, some of the each month you might get you don't know until you watch it whether you're going to get a lighter tone, a darker tone, or a bloody tone, or of hookah. I enjoyed it. I would have liked a little bit more creature in it. I was a little let down by the creature, but I think that's the point with this one. I think this one it would have been a different film if it had what I really wanted out of the creature. It wouldn't have been this lighthearted fare, which I do think, even with the gore, is still, it's kind of like it would be good, like Netflix and chill kind of movie, right? You sit back, you watch this one on Hulu, and you have a couple drinks.
Why wouldn't it be Hulu and chill?
Well, it would be, but that's not a term.
Yeah.
Hulu and Blumhouse chill.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And Judy Greer is marvelous. Liked her a lot. Steve Guttenberg was hilarious, and I just liked how he. I just liked her progression, like how mad she was getting. Like by the time the boyfriend cop figures things out, she's like, "You're gone.
Yeah.
You're done." Like, that is so funny. She's usually like, "Get him, good boy." You're
such a good boy.
I know. Compared to the first time she figures it out, when it has the nice little finger scene in the dog's mouth, which I thought was hilarious.
Oh my god! She's like, "Drop it." I know, it's so cute. It's so cute. That dog, whoever trained that dog, is a master. I don't know what kind of dog it was either, but that dog's cute. He has a little short, stocky body, his little chunky thighs, little meaty thighs. Oh, so cute.
Little wiry hair.
Yes.
Yeah, the hair tufts out of the ear made it look just a little crazy.
Yeah.
So cute.
It's the side of little Chihuahua, right? So. Is that right?
I don't know.
I don't know my dog.
No idea.
It was bigger than
no idea.
It was.
Yeah, totally. That's it.
So okay. So there's comedy in this, right? There's comedy.
Oh my gosh, yes,
For sure.
So what did we think of that,
Good.
Crystal? Did the comedy live up to?
Oh, it's amazing when she's at the vet with her dog and they look over. It's so good. And they see this poster with a really fat cat and it says "Stop Cat Obesity." And then she says to her little doggo, "That cat is fat AF." That was hilarious. I was dead. I was like, that's so silly. I actually wonder if they just kind of if she came up with that on her own, because it just seems so random. But yeah, I like the comedy infused with horror. I think it sometimes when you do that, like with, certain things, it can make the scary seem scarier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you have that lightheartedness and then out comes, whatever it is.
Yeah, it does kind of help ease the crimson that flows later on. Dave? Maria Conchita Alonso. We talked about her in a text because she was in. What did she name? Like Predator 2? I'm trying to remember. She was
Predator 2. She was in, what was the one where Schwarzenegger went to Mars too? Total Recall. She was in that too, I believe.
Was she?
Yeah.
Wow. She was in The Running Man. Wasn't she in The Running Man? I think she was in The Running Man as well.
She might have been. Like she was poised to be huge. I was like, is that Charo? Who is that? It's like, that can't be Charo.
Is that Charo blonde? Right?
Very much so. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm being silly. Of course, it isn't Charo, but I had to look it up, and I was like, oh man, that's her. But she's good. She does, and she's rather delightful in this, isn't she, Dave?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's good as the landlady or whatever she is, the apartment manager. Yeah, she's really good in this. I hadn't seen her in ages. I mean, she's last time I remember seeing her, she was still kind of playing the sex pot kind of characters, So, but she looks like she's maybe in her mid to late 60s now.
Oh wow,
no
she
idea.
looks really, really, really good.
But yeah, she was great in this. It was a good role for her. A little bit more than day player, but she wasn't in it a lot, and she has a great conclusion. So So
Because,
yeah, it was good to see her. And the same with Steve Guttenberg. It was good to see him. I haven't seen him in ages either. I mean, he was,
I
he
didn't
was.
look at the cast. I was surprised to find these people in it. I knew Judy Greer was in it from the trailer, but I didn't even pay attention to the other cast. And
Yeah. He looks a lot different, but also at the same time looks very much the same.
it sounds.
You can tell it was him. But I mean, really, has he done anything since he was in those 3 Man and a Baby flicks?
Oh,
And he was he was in Cocoon.
Oh,
And of course, the
okay.
Police Academy movies. But other than that, I don't know that he's done anything.
I don't know, but he was.
He was in Boys from Brazil, which I just watched.
There you go. But his dialogue was quite sharp. I like the dialogue between him and Judy Greer, especially when they were when he was drinking and she comes in, fires him, and things go south. Yeah, it was good to see. What do you? All right, Jeff, give us. All right, a lot of times we talk about this is a Jeff Moore film, which is that mysterious, ethereal description of the films that we perceive as your friends that you would like. I'm not sure either one of the films this week I would throw in that category. So I'm looking to you, Jeff, to expand my horizon on what a Jeff Moore film would be. Where does Into the Dark, Good Boy sit?
Well, it's not something I would call a Jeff Moore film. And actually, that's why I was bummed that I didn't like Warning, Do Not Play More, because that fits. That's more atmospheric. It's more scary. It's got that WTF going on big time, but it was almost too WTF for me to catch in one viewing. So I got to go back and look at it. So back on Good Dog. No, but this isn't one of the ones that I would like that nobody else likes. This is just a nice. I keep going back to that. We've said it several times, but it's sweet and cute, and it's got a really dark underbelly, I guess. It's there right underneath the surface, and every once in a while, Judy Greer, you just kind of feel sorry for her up until she has to deal with the landlady.
Yeah, well, I like
and
it.
From that point on, it becomes much more intentional and much darker.
Yeah,
I still was with her at that point. I
yeah. I'm not saying I turned against her. I was just like thinking,
well, she was always prodded, right? There was always a catalyst for her. I liked it the more she lost her shit. I thought the more I would get into it, and of course, the more she loses her shit, the more the dog, becomes Mr. Mean Jeans. So,
you don't want the dog to growl at you.
No. And well, we get a Cujo moment, or not a Cujo moment. Well, I guess it is, right? Where he comes through the window, or is that a different moment?
Well, this dog has powers that were never really revealed,
No.
Other than it, like his back. He's like, bleh, bleh, bleh.
Yeah. It comes in windows, it goes out windows. We don't know what it does in between the windows, but
and he gets the door. I like the scratches on the door when the landlord comes in and sees him. Goes, what's going on here?
The gouges on the door.
Yes. I thought that when they used the puppy cam, I was expecting something a little more revealing than what we got, but it's certainly.
Well, I'm kind of with you. I was sort of hoping for a little better transformation, a little more graphic transformation. And when I talk about the violence, I guess, God, maybe I'm getting to where I've seen too many, but I'm thinking of like when Crystal mentioned the under the bed thing. I'm thinking like we're going to see parts and stuff.
Okay, but see, here's my thing. I'm like, why is she hiding these bodies? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. No one is going to think it's her little pupper. Okay, no one is going to believe it's sweet little Reuben.
Right.
She put it on herself. I would have been like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I don't know.
Don't know.
I don't don't ever want Crystal mad at me because
You don't know?
I have no doubt she'll never get caught.
Because she went into the apartment and then did all dumb. I'm like, now the friend, the girlfriend, that's a whole nother situation.
Mhm.
Like, you never do it in your own house. That's just like,
Well, even with
Yeah,
the-
everybody pretty much kind of sort of maybe deserved it, except
yeah, that was sad.
well, the boyfriend didn't deserve it either, right? No.
Well, he
Spoilers.
Well, he was going to arrest her.
Yeah.
well, he also didn't believe her.
Aw.
He needed. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, no faith.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's another thing. When he said, "Hey, what's going on?" Why didn't she turn to him and tell him what was going on or whatever? I feel like it would have been a different situation as well. Like when she was going through this hormonal treatment and she's acting crazy and angry, she doesn't tell him. And I think that's a lot of her. There's a lot going. She's her own worst enemy. She was bound to get caught.
Well,
She
that
just doesn't.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Because a subplot of this is her freezing her eggs for to have a baby later in life, and that's kind of a conflict or between her and previous boyfriends. So that's one of the reasons why this cop boyfriend kind of is a different story for her, and it's a little more of a positive relationship. One of the things they mention is that once she goes on the actual medicine, is that for a time being that she is going to she'll get moody, and even at the point that she might hallucinate.
Right.
And I kept wondering, are they playing with that? Is the dog being what it is more what she's seeing, and she's actually the
Killer.
And I just couldn't figure out if they were trying to establish that, or if I don't know if they established it well enough to make it stick. Right? I don't think
I think they only said that to make us think that maybe that might be what we're going to do.
Right.
But it wasn't.
They never do. It's always obvious it's a dog. I mean, from the very beginning, but we don't know, right? The dog could have just found the finger, but who knows, right? It's kind of weird.
The dog pooped out a finger.
Yes.
That's
remember?
Yes.
The landlord's poopy finger. We had a poopy finger too. Apparently, he really liked fingies.
And he had a slow digestive tract.
Yeah. He's like, that's what's so funny. She's like, I know you're stopped up. I know.
Oh my. Oh,
that's so funny. Then he poopies a fingy.
That would do it.
Got a bone lodged. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's give our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene, as we do here every week. Who's up first? I believe it's Jeff Moore.
It's me, so I get to pick this first scene.
Mm.
I think this is right along the lines with these other Into the Dark shows. I think it fits right in there. It's a nice twist on because really it is a twist on the emotional support animal. Like, if you really had an emotional support animal that would do what you wanted it to do. Anyway, take care of the people causing you problems. So yeah, and Judy Greer is just a treat in this, as is Steve Guttenberg and Maria Conchita Alonso. I'm going to give this a 3.25.
I could see the wheels are turning there.
Yeah, they were grinding. I wasn't fixed on either of these before we got here. And for favorite scene, you know what? I'm going to take when what she does with her bosses after the dog takes care of the boss.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just thought it was.
Oh, it was so funny because it was
interesting,
unexpected. Yeah.
That works. That works.
Over the side. Over the side.
All right. Up next is Crystal Cleveland. What is your final thoughts? Your score? Favorite scene? Into the Dark. Good boy.
Good boy. So obviously, I think you should watch this. It's cute. It's funny. It's got some gore, and especially if you like dogs, and it's cute as doggo. How could you miss out? I'm gonna give it a 3.5. And my favorite scene, well, damn, most of them have been mentioned, but I think I am gonna still choose one. I think I'm actually gonna choose the first scene where he eats the Reuben sandwich and he has the little meat dangling, and she's like, "Drop it," and then he just, oh, so cute. I was like, oh, that little cutie head, I love him. Like, I'm so bad. Like, that's why my dogs are so horrible, because I praise horrible behavior, because I think it's cute when they do the wrong things. Okay, I'm really a horrible mother.
I liked her reaction to it as well, because she did get mad.
She thought the same thing. That's what I do. I'm serious. I'm like, oh, aren't you so cute? You just wanted the little meat treat.
All right. Awesome. Dave, you're up next. What's your final thought? Your score? Favorite scene? Into the Dark. Good boy.
I think we're all kind of in agreement here. I'm going to give it a 3. This film doesn't break any new ground, but it doesn't hurt anything. Judy Greer is great. Steve Guttenberg's great. Maria Conchita is great. The dog is great.
Yes.
So it was just a fun watch. There's enough blood to keep any gorehounds interested. It was just fun. It's not exceptional, but it's certainly not bad. Favorite scene? I'm going to go with and it's not even that it's that great of a scene, but it was kind of pivotal in you realizing that that Reuben is kind of changing the Judy Greer character to stand up for herself a little more. It's when they're at the doggy yoga park.
Yeah.
And all the other dogs are barking at her dog, and some of the bitchy women are getting on her case about the dog.
Yes.
The one lady asked, if you had his anal glands bled or whatever it was, expressed, yeah. And she just kind of comes back with that little retort, was like, you need your anal glands expressed, or something like that. Yeah. And it's not that great of a scene, but you right away realized that she was kind of buying into this dog as her ultimate protector. Mm-hmm. And she was going to be okay. And she was going to be okay with it. So yeah, I'll go with that as a favorite scene.
I like that. I enjoyed this as well. I'm finding that my score is not quite as high as yours. I'll get to that here in a second. I do like the cast. Yeah, I like the dog. I like the whole concept. I just wanted a better transformation. I wanted to pay off, and I don't think I got that. I don't think that will ruin the experience for everyone. Obviously, it doesn't for the three of you. So 2.75 is what I'm giving it.
Wait, you're a Blumhumper. How can you give it a 2.75? What?
Right. The fact that it's Blumhouse is a 3 right there.
Yeah.
At least.
Hello. What? Okay.
I don't know what to stand on. I have no leg to stand on. It's what I wrote down, and I got to go with it. I wrote it down.
Right now, Jason Blum is having bad stomach pains, and you don't know why.
Maybe it's that finger he's going to poop out later today.
God.
Favorite scene? I'm going to go. There's a couple of them, but I just loved Judy Greer's expression at the end when the police come in. And she's basically all right in the world, but she's just sitting there in her yoga stance, and nothing's. She's like, "Yep, this is what happened, and I'm good with it." And I like that. Then we get the dog back in the pound, getting rescued once again. That'll be fun. Good boy too.
Good boy too.
Back for
Could
more.
be.
So there you go. That's good. That's our reviews for both films. Warning, Do Not Play, which is on Shudder June 11th, 2020, and Into the Dark, Good Boy, which premieres on Hulu July 12th. This is also 2020. So I hope you like either or both of these films. If you watch them and have a comment, leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought, or write us in at Gruesome Magazine, or what? Yes, we're down below. Feedback at gruesomemagazine.com, or find us on Facebook, or go to gruesomemagazine.com and leave us a comment there. Any way you want to do it, we'd love to hear from you. Be sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel or the podcast, and hit the like button, or pop a review. Anyway, anything you can do in that respect will help us out, and it's all free. Yeah. It's easy to do. So we hope you enjoy this. Oh man, Jeff, Crystal, Dave, I'm glad you were able to make it back. I'm so glad you guys were here. Yes. Thank you for joining me.
121 episodes.
121. And let us know what you think of this new format.
Video.
Yeah, it's fun.
Radio star.
Oh, nice. I think you just banned us. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Crystal owns the right to that song.
Yes.
I do.
Yeah,
me wrong.
That was less than 30 seconds, right? All right. With that, let's say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Gruesome Magazine.